Philippines economy is digital. The country's goal of pushing for a more inclusive and prosperous post-COVID-19 economy requires putting in place robust digital infrastructure, digital skills, e-government, digital ID, and an enabling legal and regulatory framework. To discuss the outlook and critical pillars needed for the Philippine digital economy post-COVID-19 are these distinguished panelists. Mr. Monchito Ibrahim, the incoming head of the Philippine Association of Digital Commerce and Decentralized Industries, or PADCDI. Mr. Michael Siu Lim, Chief Executive Officer of the National ICT Confederation of the Philippines. Ms. Ana May Lamentillo, Chairman of the Build Committee of the Department of Public Works and Highways. Assistant Secretary Manny Caintic of the Department of Information Communication Technology. Mr. Alan Go, Country Manager of Alibaba Cloud Intelligence. To begin with this morning's panel, may we call on our moderators, Mr. Ryan Isip, Senior Director of JLL Philippines, and WFF Philippines Convener, Ms. Amor Maclang.
Good morning. Good morning, Amor. Good morning, everybody. How are you today, Amor?
Excellent. Good morning, Ryan. This is your show. I'm primarily here to support.
Okay, this is great. I'm glad to have everyone here with that. So with that, I think we are going to set off, if that's okay, right? So I think the first question that I'd like to put forward to the group here, and what a powerful group we have. From your individual perspectives, what is the infrastructure needed to enable a digital Pilipinas, and where are we with regard to that?
You know, it's interesting, Ryan, that you mentioned that, because most people think when they talk about infrastructure that it's primarily the gray ware of things, you know, your roads and your bridges. But it's actually really more than that. And maybe for starters, we could listen in on Chairman Ana May Lamentillo, because I believe she has some stuff to share with us. Is that okay, Ryan?
That is great. Yes, please.
Great. Chairman Ana.
Yeah, there's a mute, I think.
Ma'am, I think you might still be on mute. It's a common thing that happens.
Hi, sorry about that. In DPWH, we've been building a lot of roads, bridges, but we've also partnered with the ICT, and ASIC Caintic is here. We have been doing the Luzon Spine Expressway network, which I think ASIC Caintic will delve more about it. But as far as DPWH is concerned, we have proceeded with digitalization of our monitoring system, so that now all the projects in DPWH are geotagged and are monitored via satellite technology. And it helps us push forward our infrastructure goals.
Ma'am, I think before we get started, would you like to run the presentation that you had prepared for us?
Yes, it's with your staff.
Yes. Chino, any moment now. Perfect. Thank you.
My presentation will be about the build next. Where were we at the end of 2019? We just wanted to 2020. Next. In 2019, we recorded the lowest recorded debt to GDP ratio of 39.6% in 2019. Next. As you can see, this is the trend as far as the national government's debt to GDP ratio. It's a downward trend from 2004 to 2019. Next. The revenues were at 16.1% of the GDP in 2019, the highest since 1997. Next. The credit rating of BBB positive is the highest in our country's history. Next. We have reserves of 89 billion US dollar, which is the highest recorded so far, and this can cover close to 8 months of imports. Next. The inflation is at 2.2%, which is well within the target of 2 to 4%. Next. On April 30, the economist ranked the Philippines' financial strength as sixth among 66 emerging economies, and this survey was done during the COVID-19 pandemic already. Next. The PH also successfully offered 2.35 billion double tranche 10-year and 25-year global bonds on April 27. Next. And so long as the Philippines' deficit to GDP ratio will not exceed 9.0, its ratio will be median among peers with similar credit rating. Next. As you can see, in comparison with Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, the Philippines has a median among comparable countries in the ASEAN region. Next. And that is the same for East Asian countries. Next. The 20T projected national government debt to GDP ratio is far lower compared to the historical performance. Next. This is, I will focus on the phase 4, which is economic recovery, which build will be part of. Next. Next. We believe that the Philippines will get back on its positive growth trajectory by 2021. Next. Next. Since 2016, we have built a total of 23,657 kilometers of roads. Next. 1,950 kilometers of tourism roads. Next. 1,540 kilometers farm-to-market roads. Next. 51 kilometers of farm-to-mill roads. Next. 437 kilometers of access roads to trade corridors. Next. 4,959 bridges. Next. 8,941 flood mitigation structures. Next. 137,098 classrooms. Next. 1,906 school workshop buildings. Next. And 129 evacuation centers. Next. We believe that Build will be the boldest and most ambitious infrastructure program in Philippine history. And it is not just a traffic solution. We also perceive Build as a social and an economic solution. As you can see, this is the number of jobs generated per year on the Build program. Next. Since 2016, we have generated a total of 6.57 million jobs up until 2020. Next. We are one of the most ambitious projects of the Build is the Philippine High Standard Highway Network, wherein we plan to create and build 1,066 kilometers of high standard highway network. Next. One of this master plan that we're building is the Luzon Spine Expressway Network. From a network of 385 kilometers in Luzon, we want to expand this to 1,040 kilometers, which will shorten the travel time between Luzon, in Luzon. So the travel time from La Union to Bicol from 16 hours will now be reduced to about 8 hours and 15 minutes. We've already completed the Tarlac Pangasinan La Union Expressway. This paved way to shorten the travel time from Manila to Baguio from 6 hours to only 3 hours. Now La Union is also 3.5 hours away, and we're just talking about one of several infrastructure projects under the Luzon Spine Expressway network. Next. This is the TPLEX. I just told you we were able to open the Tarlac Pangasinan La Union Expressway, an 89.21 kilometer expressway traversing from Tarlac City to Rosario La Union. Now the travel time from Tarlac City and Rosario La Union will be reduced from 3.5 hours to only 1 hour. Baguio is now 3 hours away, and La Union is only 3.5 hours away from Manila. Next. This is the Central Luzon Link Expressway, 30-kilometer expressway from Tarlac City to Cabanatuan City in Nueva Ecija. Now, the travel time between Tarlac City and Nueva Ecija will be reduced from 70 minutes to only 20 minutes. Next. The NLEX Harbor Link segment has already been opened. This is the 5.58 kilometer connecting MacArthur Highway and C3 Road. The travel time between Valenzuela and Caloocan will be reduced from 1 hour to only 5 minutes. We are also shortening the travel time from Manila to Quezon City from 1.5 hours to only 15 minutes. Next. We have also completed the NLEX Harbor Link, Radial Road 10 exit ramp, which is the 2.6 kilometer 4-lane elevated ramp extending the NLEX Harbor Link to Radial Road 10 in Manila. We plan to extend this further to Anda Circle next. This is Metro Manila Skyway Stage 3. We have already completed the civil works for this particular project. This is a 17.54 kilometer expressway, which will connect Makati and Quezon City. This will serve as an NLEX-SLEX connector and will reduce travel time from Makati to Quezon City from 2 hours to only 20 minutes. We will be also able to reduce the travel time from SLEX and NLEX from 2.5 hours to only 30 minutes. Next. This is the Alabang-Sucat Skyway connection and ramp extension. This is it provides a direct access to and from the elevated through the Alabang viaduct. We will be able to reduce travel time from Alabang, Sucat to Makati and Quezon City from 2 hours to only 20 to 30 minutes. Next. This is the NLEX-SLEX connector. We will be finishing it by 2021. This is an 8-kilometer expressway which will connect the C3 road in Caloocan to PUP in Manila and will connect to the common alignment of Skyway Stage 3. What we want to do for EDSA is to create a radial road or circumferential road wherein every city in Metro Manila will just be 20 to 30 minutes away. This will also reduce the travel time between SLEX and NLEX from 2 hours to only 20 minutes. But this is the first truck-graded expressway, so trucks will be able to enter this expressway. Next. We also are finished with the Plaridel Bypass Road. This is a partnership with the Japanese government. We have already completed with Phase 2. This will reduce travel time from NLEX Balagtas to the Maharlika Highway to only 30 minutes. Next. NAIA-X Phase 2 is already open. This reduced travel time from Skyway and Terminal 1 from 24 minutes to 8 minutes. This also connects to the Skyway Stage 3 alignment so that NAIA Airport, for example, will only be 20 minutes away from Makati. Next. The Cavite-Laguna Expressway, we've already opened the Laguna section of the Cavite-Laguna Expressway, a 45.29 kilometer expressway connecting Cavitex in Kawit, Cavite, and the SLEX Mamplasan interchange in Binyan, Laguna. The travel time from Cavitex and SLEX will be reduced from 1.5 hours to only 45 minutes. Next. This is the Southeast Metro Manila Expressway, which is a combination of elevated and at-grade expressway from Skyway FTI in Taguig City to Batasan Complex in Quezon City. This is about 34 kilometers and will reduce travel time from Bikutan to Batasan from 1 hour 50 minutes to 26 minutes. Next. We have also opened the Summer Street, which is a 1 kilometer road connecting Mother Ignacia and Timog Avenue in Quezon City. Next. The C5 South Link Expressway, we've already completed phase 1 of the 7.7 kilometer 6-lane expressway, which will connect the Radial Road 1 Expressway to SLEX and C5. Next. This is the Lawton Avenue. We've already opened phase 1. This is a 3.3 kilometer alignment traversing the Fort Bonifacio and Nichols Field Road. Next. This is the Mindanao Avenue extension.
Chair Anna.
Yes.
Ma'am. Hi, ma'am. There's just a question from the audience. I'm sorry to cut you. You had mentioned that there are actually certain projects that you're collaborating with directly with the DICT. Could you focus and mention that again, please? I think some members of the media are listening in, especially as it pertains to connectivity.
Yes, we have a partnership with Facebook, and we have a partnership with DICT. It's called the Luzon Broadway Network, and I think I do not want to preempt the presentation of DICT. They might be more knowledgeable for that particular collaboration. But to wrap things up, all these infrastructure projects are now being coordinated with an interagency task force, including DICT, Globe, Smart, the water lines, because we see that these road networks are preemptive or a necessary prerequisite as far as digitalization is also concerned. In fact, now all the major highways have have existing collaborations with Globe, Smart, the Meralco. We're very happy with the Lawton Avenue because now we don't have existing tower poles, and now everything is underground, and we have geared towards geotagging, for example, and the digitalization of the monitoring system of DPWH, so that the central office would be able to eliminate ghost projects by 100% because projects are now tagged via geographic coordinates. And that is the end of my presentation.
So basically, you're using digital also to ensure transparency and good governance within DPWH. That's so both an internal and an external manifestation. That's very good to hear, Chairman Anna. I'm sure a lot of people have questions for you. Ryan, back to you.
Yes. Thank you, Amor. That's a great presentation, and thank you, Ms. Hannah. I'm glad to see that there's so much infrastructure that's coming to the Philippines. Very ambitious, and we hope to get that executed soon. As you had alluded to, Ms. Anna, I think we're going to have a presentation from ASEC Caintic.
Morning. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Amor, for inviting us. I actually did not prepare a set of slides, so I'll just be talking about them. I'd
Yes.
like to first congratulate DPWH. They really made a very extensive output in this time of COVID. They have not. Kumbaga, they did their very best to build, in spite and especially during this COVID.
And so much so, Asek Manny, nagka-COVID na. Even
yeah.
Chairman Anna, I mean, she's a COVID survivor.
Yes. But this is Techmark had COVID also, so we both survived COVID-19 already.
I'd like to highlight the fact that as Chairman Anna said, next year alone, they will be adding 1,666 kilometers and hundreds more in our terms of infrastructure. And where does the DICT and the DPWH collaborate? The breakthrough happened last year, late last year, and started doing it already. All the roads have a fiber conduit. It's now a necessity for all government contractors to include a fiber conduit. So all the roads that you see that are being repaired or built have a fiber conduit. And that is very important because as we lay down our fibers for national broadband, and even the globes and the smarts and the ditos and the converge can now make use of those conduits. Those are common conduits. So all these telcos have to do is ask permission and then can blow their fibers into it. That's very important because that's the only way we can expedite the rollout of all the digital cabling and infrastructure. Number two, DPWH has also signed a MOA with DICT to make it easy for small passive and the big passive infrastructure towers to be built. It made it much easier. So the DICT DPWH collaboration in terms of making sure the towers are gonna be immune from unnecessary red tape started even before anti-red tape authority pounced on us to work. So that's very important because there's no towers. Our signals of the cell phones, 5G, especially 5G, we will have to have 5G antennas on light poles. DPWH have, it's actually they who actually talk to us and say, what do you guys need? So it's a very different mindset. So that's the number one collaboration in terms of the digital connectivity. We can build the national broadband and it's utilizing the National Grid Corporation, but without that silent killer, which is making conduits and making it easy for towers to be built, it will not happen. So they already laid the foundations for the cablings and the towers to come up. Thank you, Amor.
Uh, Asik, you mentioned something very important that I'm hoping you could elaborate, given that we have a global audience right now. We're all looking at
Okay. I'd like to
investment.
yeah.
Chairman she called it the interagency task force, but we commonly know it as that whole of government, whole of society approach. Asik, you were saying, go ahead, please. Sorry.
So yeah, so in terms of why this COVID has already changed the mindset of how agencies work, I'd like to discuss certain things that are pertinent to how digital economy is already being propelled by the government itself. Number one, now more than ever, all government agencies are mandated to start adopting the digital signatures. So we have no choice. Papers cannot be floated, moved around. So every government agency, and we're so happy because agencies like the DPWH, the DTI have not hesitated to start using digital signatures slowly. It's internal. You don't need to create online services yet. But if the agencies themselves adopt paperless and sign documents passed on from one to another using digital signatures, you will see the dramatic increase in efficiency. So it it far surpasses anything that you don't need some tremendous digital transformation. Only the online signatures is already important. You do not have to wait for national ID to happen because even if you have no national ID, you can sign the documents digitally using the PNPKI. Number two, the agencies are being, for those with online services, they are now being because of COVID especially, they are now encouraged to accept digital payments. So Land Bank, the COA have already eased up on regulations in accepting digital payments. There's no choice. So that's what we're doing in propelling the use of the use of digital payments. So government itself is doing it. And lastly, we have made sure that the cloud first policy is no longer ambiguous. Many government agencies have not been adopting cloud, but now it's very clear the cloud first policy and the cloud procurement policies are now making it easy for them to accept the fact that they have to move towards the cloud. It's faster, it's easier to manage, and it's going to be more robust and secure for them. Thank you, Amor.
Ryan?
Thank you. Thank you, Isip Caintic. That is great. Before the fintech, there's outsourcing sector that put the Philippines on the map. The original proponents of Tech Pilipinas in the BPO industry. Um, maybe um, Mr. Mon wants to speak about that.
Sir Mon, I
Yes.
think you might be on mute.
Yeah. While we're resolving some of these technical items, maybe we can go to Mr. Alan Go with regard to what Alibaba is doing in the Philippines. Sorry, Alan, you're on mute.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can I show my just like very brief slides?
Sure, no worries.
Yeah.
So while Alan is setting up, Alan, we had discussed earlier how the silent infrastructure, the secret soft infrastructure is really how do we get more people to jump and be on the cloud, right? To augment what's already being done by the government. And later I'll get back to ASIC Manny because in our opening panel, opening day yesterday, everyone is curious to know about the status of our national ID because, in a way, that is an important component of our infra, right? Whether it's in being able to achieve efficiencies, transparency, but also in our fintech world, the ability to be able to dispense loans really depends on the status of the national ID system. So, hold on to that question, Asik Manny, while we work with Alan. Alan,
Yes.
yes, you have a presentation to share.
Yeah. Okay. Just a very little. Yeah.
Well, to add, thank you, Asaka Intik. So the roads that I showed are really the prerequisite for high-speed internet in the country because now it's a whole of government approach wherein we use roads also not just to bridge people together, but also to include the necessary infrastructure to create a high-speed internet in the country. And also to answer, the Luzon Bypass Infrastructure Project is a collaboration between the ICT, BCDA, and Facebook. This is the master plan is to build an ultra high-speed information highway that will improve the speed, affordability, and accessibility of broadband internet throughout the country. The plan is for Facebook to utilize the infrastructure and will construct and operate a submarine cable system that will land in the cable station on the east and west coasts of Luzon. And in turn, they will provide the Philippine government at least 2 million Mbps for that particular project. So, yeah, just additional.
That sounds yes. No, no, thank you, Chairman Anna. And Asik Kaintik, while we're waiting for Alan to come on, everyone's hearing about this whole of government, whole of society approach and how it's a different conversations that beyond just building the infra and the broadband, if the mindset is not there to be working closely together, then it's always problematic. We've seen it in the COVID response. I'm there firsthand to witness it. You know, we're the same people who are talking. But how does this translate to the infra collaboration. Aseklani? Because I know we know it in the government, but it might not be something that those in the private sector or even those outside of the Philippines are familiar with. What is this new mindset that you're talking about that's
Well,
allowing us to achieve these great projects, collaborative projects together? Over.
yes, Amar. The one of the difference right now because of COVID is that we are all Viber mates. All the assistant secretaries and undersecretaries across all government agencies. We have several Viber group chats that in the past we would have to write each other lengthy emails just to collaborate. Now we have cross-cutting concerns like vaccine task group, the IATF task groups. All of them are just Viber text away. So we do not waste time anymore trying to be, cordial, and we go straight, and then we give our concerns directly. It might be mundane, but the level of collaboration at this stage is so much more intense than last year or even years before. So decision making is quick, responses are quick. So people don't see that. Number two, uh, the concerns are no longer insular. It's no longer I'm concerned about this and you're concerned about that. Everything is now interagency by default. So that's the difference, Amor. Thank you.
I cannot emphasize that enough. I mean, as a very small player in the government COVID response, I've seen it firsthand, and wow, guys, work, it's just incredible. Sir Mon, do we have you in? Sir Ibrahim, are we good with your audio? Sir Mon, we're still not able to connect to you. We'll give you a few seconds. Alan, are you ready to share?
Yeah. I sorry just for some connection issue. Yeah. Maybe I can share it now. It's just very quick and also brief about.
No worries, Alan.
Yeah.
We're very happy.
Mm,
There
yeah.
you
Okay.
go.
That's
So
great.
Alibaba and Huawei is beginning to usher the Asian leadership in technology, and so we're very happy to have you. Is the country head of Alibaba Cloud in the country. Over to you, Alan.
yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. And also today is a great honor and also pleasure to join this session. Yeah. Before I start, I also wanted to make a very quick brief about the Alibaba Group and also Alibaba Cloud. Yeah, from this business portfolio, I think you can see a full business portfolio about Alibaba Group. Before, many people they still see that Alibaba Group as a joint e-commerce company, right? Yeah, but in the past few years, Alibaba Group has grown up as a large full digital economy. Yeah, and also Alibaba Cloud as a full, just like digital and also infrastructure backbone to support Alibaba Group, not only in China, but also in the global business, just like the expansion and also the business coverage. So you can say Alibaba Group, we already built a large business in retail, retail and also wholesale, no matter the online, but also the offline shopping malls, and also our consumer service, and also our digital media and also entertainment service. Meanwhile, Alibaba Group also built a largest just like in infrastructure in logistic, which is the name is Cainiao Logistic, and also Ali Mama marketing digital platform, and also our payment and also financial service from the financial, just like as a fintech infrastructure, and also other just like mobile digital application and also service as also just like the traffic and also information provider. In the bottom line is the Alibaba Cloud. Alibaba Cloud as computing, artificial intelligence, and also the big data to support the Alibaba Group's globally business expansion as a technology backbone. Yeah, so you can say for this Philippines and also for our globally, yeah, Alibaba Cloud is also committed to invest 2 billions, just like the RMB, in 3 years to build the new generation data centers. Because why? Because this year, the global countries and also people just like suffered from the COVID-19 situation. Yeah, but from the technology in China and also in the global Alibaba Group and also Alibaba Cloud, we still have a stronger just like confidence that in the post-pandemic situation, Alibaba Group and also Alibaba Cloud, we still can say the new technology adoption will just like speed up no matter about the digital transformation, but also the digital economy development in Asia and also in the global. So that's why Alibaba Cloud is committed to invest more in our cloud and also digital infrastructure to support more just like a localized business to reach their digital transformation target. This year, the Philippines, in the past 5 years, the Philippines, just like the GDP growth, with a very faster growth. I guess that's this, no matter the 6.1 or 6.9, yeah, still the faster just like GDP growth in the Southeast Asia. Yeah, it's really just like a quick growing. Yeah, even just like under this year, just like under this COVID-19 situation, some just like a rating organization such as SP Global Rating and also Japan Credit Rating Agency and also Moody's rating, they still give a very higher and also stable just like outlook for this Philippine market. So the Philippine economy just like still remains resilient during this COVID-19 situation. And also within this year, we still can say from the financial service and also the information technology, still the main industries in the Philippines that reported just like positive GDP contribution growth in this quarter 2. So we can see is this no matter the FinTech, but also the ICT industry really just like had made a lot of just like contribution to this country and also to this economy and also the market. We also see some new technology adoption to speed the recovery in the post-pandemic. Yeah, so you can see from some analysts, yeah, the 10K technologies the shaping the post-COVID-19 economy, including the data analytics, blockchain, the 5G networking, and also the just like artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and also cloud computing. Yeah, as we know that in the Philippine market, the digital transformation is always a very hot topic and also mentioned just like again and again by many just like enterprises and also many just like many people in this market and also already a few years. And also no matter the digital transformation or just like the business transformation, the the cybersecurity, connectivity, and also cloud computing, and also the 5G, and also some blockchain, always the hot topics in this Philippine market. So we also have seen a lot of just like efforts from no matter from the enterprises and also from the public sectors. As Sir Manny just like mentioned just now, the ICT also placed a lot of efforts to to drive the whole countries, no matter from the local infrastructure, but also from the cloud, and also from the just like cybersecurity, connectivity, and also 5G. So we do believe that in the coming years, the Philippines and the new technology adoption still will speed up and also will just like play a very important role in the country's digital economy development. So that's why Alibaba Cloud, we also just like we're committed to just like place more just like investment, no matter from the enablement, empowerment, and also our just like training and also new technology coverage in this local market, and also to see how Alibaba Cloud and also from Alibaba Cloud, our sister companies in Alibaba Group, that we can serve more and support more these full countries digital, no matter their digital transformation or their business transformation. Yeah, and also we know that recently the RCEP also, also was signed from the Southeast Asia and also the many Asia countries, right? So this RCEP also will bring more opportunity, no matter from the trending, tourism, e-commerce, the FinTech, investment, ICT, research, and also development. This is also a very good opportunity for no matter for Alibaba Cloud, and also I think for many local and also international, just like enterprises and also organizations, to exchange the values, no matter on the economy, but also the technology and also the digital mindset. So that's it. Yeah. So, and also mentioned about the digital transformation, I also wanted to place some keywords. Yeah, I can say that there are some keywords. The first is a business target. Yeah, the second is the digital and agility platform. And the third is about the data-driven, just like infrastructure. Yeah, because why I said the business target, because when all the people mentioned about the digital transformation, yeah, it's not only the just like the infrastructure, but also the platform and also the business. Yeah, many times it's the business involvement, innovation, and also the transformation, right? Yeah, but when you wanted to do some just like the real time and also timely, just like analytics and also the business guidance, you needed to do a lot of the research and also analytics. So you need a real time and also agility, just like a platform such as no matter the data analytics platform, some blockchain platform, and also some AI platform to serve your and also to give master just like much faster and also just like promote a response to your business guidance and to support the business decision maker to make the promote and also the fast decision on their just like marketing and also the business and innovation. Yeah, and also in the bottom line, yeah, in order to support the agility and also the real time, the analytics and also the computing, yeah, you need also to build just like a solid and also the just like people, and also, yeah, and also some just like continually just like cloud and also even on-premise infrastructure, right?
That's right.
So this infrastructure, yeah. Hello. Yes.
Hey, Changan, si Alan.
I'd
That is
like,
very good. Go ahead, Amor.
You really hit the money. No, I think Ryan, no, he really said something that maybe you'd like to expound on, the data-driven infrastructure and also the cloud-first policy. Ryan?
Yes, that's right. And I'd like to thank Chairwoman Anna again, who put together the infrastructure, and then we spoke with the infrastructure and the fiber laying in coordination with the DICT, right? And we're in there putting the fiber together, and then Alan spoke about the data center of getting that the information out, right? And to put all of that together, right? I think to put all of that together, maybe what we can do next is that we can address the President CEO of the National ICT Confederation of the Philippines, Mr. Michael Chulim. If you don't mind adding to that with regard to, we had outsourced what we are doing next pertaining to the after the BPO industry. What's next for the ICT Confederation, sir?
Okay, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Amor. Um, I would actually like to present a little bit of information about NICP. I'm sure most of the people here might not know about it, so I would like to do a quick presentation. And I'm glad, before anything else, I'm glad to have Sir Mon here with us. Sir Mon is actually the father of NICP, so he was instrumental in the formation of NICP. And right now, through Aztec Money, we are in deep collaboration with the ICT, helping them uh, implement their programs such as free Wi-Fi, etc. Okay, so next slide, please. NICP is a collaboration of ICT councils around the Philippines. There is right now around 83 ICT councils working with their own LGUs to ensure that their city becomes competitive in terms of being able to attract investors, BPOs, technology companies to their cities. So we help by engaging one another and sharing best practices so that each city will not be left behind. We cater mostly towards the countryside because the cities like Cebu, Davao, Manila don't really need any more help, and they are well on their way to, giving a lot of help to the economy. So we cater to a lot of countryside cities, Iligan, Zamboanga City, Cagayan de Oro, etc. Next slide, please. We are made up of, we first started in 2008, actually, with Sir Mon at the helm at that time. And we started with 10 ICT councils. Major ICT councils then were Metro Clark, Quezon City, Cagayan de Oro. As you can see, next slide, please. Next slide, please. So I would say that we can attribute to the ICT councils about 300,000 jobs directly from the IT BPM industry. Next slide, please. And if you would know, we currently have 1.2 million jobs from the BPO sector. So NICP can be attributed to 1 out of every 5 jobs that was done. Next slide, please. So 300,000 was mainly due to ICT councils help companies set up in cities like Cagayan de Oro, Davao, Iloilo, etc. And we hope to have more companies who are willing to invest in the countryside connect with us because we can link you up with the LGUs directly. We can talk to them for you. We can help you set up anything you need. We are a non-profit organization. We are non-government. All we want to do is to help you bring your company to our city so that you can provide work for our constituents. Last slide, please. So if there are any questions that most of the companies or most of the audience here might have, please email us at president@nicb.org.ph. So thank you. I'll go back to Ryan's question. You asked about BPOs and what's next. So if I may,
and also your comment on data-driven infrastructure and the cloud-first policy of the government.
Okay, well, maybe I'll tackle that first. I just mentioned that we are actually deeply entrenched in partnership with Aztec Money, the ICT, because we help them implement their free Wi-Fi program. And we think that the free Wi-Fi is a very important program for the growth of digitalization for Filipinos because there's still a lot of areas within the countryside where there's no, I guess, proper connectivity available yet. And through the Wi-Fi program and through the ICT Council, we hope to help the ICT implement in 83 cities simultaneously. And that is something that Sir Asik Mani and I actually talk about almost on a weekly basis. And I'm glad that we have somebody like Asik Mani in the ICT promoting that effort. So without connectivity, imagine there's so many jobs out there, but without connectivity, how can somebody, a freelancer from Zamboanga City, for example, get access to the tens of thousands of jobs available on the internet? And if you look at how much they get paid now, minimum wage being at maybe 300 to 500, they can easily double or triple or even quadruple that if they find something that they are passionate with and that are well paying. There's so many kind of jobs like that on the internet. So the minimum requirement for that is really connectivity. So that's why those are the kind of things that we kind of do with either the industry or government. The other thing that we do, aside from the BPO sector work that we do, is now we encourage microsites. And what is a microsite? Well, you've heard of mega sites where companies locate in BGC Taguig and they hire like 5,000 people, 10,000 people. But because of the pandemic, we all know now that that does not work. I mean, maybe it will take another pandemic in the future. Of course, I hope it doesn't happen again. But in case that it does, having a mega site will not work anymore. So we encourage BPO companies now to kind of spread out their sites, and we call it now microsites. Instead of having one big mega site in Metro Manila, why not have 10 microsites throughout the countryside? If something happens, hopefully again not, if something happens to a certain area, then they will not get crippled because 70% or 80% of their workforce will still be available for them to kind of take over the work that another area has been affected with. So more or less, that's really where NSTP can come in. We actually would like to partner with anybody, but maybe on the last note, I would like to take note that we are helping now Huawei ICT Academy. We are helping also DICT, ICT Academy, and the LinkedIn ICT Academy because we serve as I guess, the grassroots link to the countryside. So for initiatives like those, NSCP will be the best partner to help. And like I said, we will be able to implement that in at least 83 major cities simultaneously. So thank you, Ryan.
Mike.
Thank you, Amor.
And Ryan, if you would allow me, Sir Mon, everyone's been wanting to hear from you. Is your audio working now? Okay, there's still yes, Sir Mon. Hello, Sir Mon. No, Sir Mon. Unfortunately, we're still not. We can go sign language in a little bit and do doodles. But while we're waiting for you to come on, Asek Mani, can you comment, please, sir, on the what Alan has mentioned, the DICT's cloud first policy and the data driven infrastructure that you guys are pushing for, because that seems to be really the super important crux of the discussion here today. Asek Mani?
Just to provide context on why we had to make that policy, that's actually directed to national and local government agencies. For the past 3-5 years, we're still very frustrated at the adoption of cloud. Many of our colleagues in government are actually fearful that it's gonna be unsecure and everything. And so that in no uncertain terms, we had to make a policy that if not for national security systems like uh, troop deployments and whatever, you can host all your applications and data on the cloud. We have seen that first and foremost in the COVID systems. All the COVID systems from COVID Kaya, CDRS, all the systems that we are using now are all on Amazon or Azure. So we were able to fortunately got the first they were donations, but then later on we had to pay for them already on all these platforms, no, Google, Amazon, and Azure, Microsoft. So now agencies are now more comfortable. So why we had to make this cloud first? If you read the policy, it's very simple. Follow, segregate, stratify your data and applications. If it's not national security, you have to ask from us, the National Security Council board, the National Security Board. If we do not say that this is of national security concern, go ahead and host it on the cloud. It's very straightforward. It's like 3-5 page document, but it makes it very easy for government agencies to adapt to the cloud. It takes away all their
You,
fears. Thank you, Mark.
Asik Mani, I'll take that on as a challenge. As a member and a leader in many technology groups here in the country, I think what we will do, and I'll talk to Mike about this, is to get the private sector, the AWS, Huawei, Alibaba of this world to work in teching up government, no? And we'll work through the DICT. We'll work closely with you, sir, because I think there's really a B2G opportunity for change, right? So thank you for putting Mike, shall we take that challenge on?
Sure, of course. Anytime.
Working on helping implement this cloud first policy, right? And in the process bring in some of the leaders in Asia and also in the world. Welcome
Yes.
back, the father of NICP, Sir Mon Ibrahim.
Okay, can you hear
here
me
with
now?
us? Yay!
Okay,
Everyone.
thank you. I'll go back to the
sir.
original question of Ryan. Okay, 12 years ago or 13 years ago when we started the Philippine BPO industry, we will actually continue working on the BPO growth of the BPO industry here. It was actually all about jobs, creating jobs. It was also about the Philippine brand, selling it globally, and getting people putting Philippines on the. And finally, it was also about forcing our telco companies to put in the connectivity outside of the metropolitan cities, like Zamboanga City and the other cities of the Philippines. So that was where we were. That was how we started 14 years ago. Now, the new organization, the Philippine Association for Digital Commerce and Decentralized Industries, started out as a group of e-commerce practitioners and professionals. But eventually, we realized that e-commerce is all about building trust. E-commerce is also about creating transparency in the ecosystem, and also building efficiency between not just the practitioners, but as well as the public sector. That's where we're very, very focused on right now. We're lucky, and there's always a positive side to the pandemic. We've seen the exponential growth of e-commerce in the Philippines, and it's probably because of the pandemic. Now we're very, very focused on trying to build the platform for enabling trust to happen really there. Of course, to secure all the transactions that we're actually doing online today. That's where we're very, very focused on right now. And lastly, trying to address the digital divide that we have in the Philippines right now. And I think DICT is continuing to actually make great strides in ensuring that we have the connectivity even outside of the metropolitan cities. And we're very, very glad that NICP is also working with the ICT. And on our side, PAD CDI, we're actually willing to work with all the stakeholders, with all the groups, because at the end of the day, it is now about creating a whole of society approach to address all the issues that we have in the Philippines. So we will be there, but in the meantime, we can actually work on our own. There are a lot of things to do. We don't have to wait for government to invite us. We don't have to wait for the other stakeholders to invite us. Okay, we're having our hands full trying to educate everyone. on how to build. And I have one request for especially to government. Okay, I think getting ready for the new normal will also involve now looking at emerging technologies like blockchain. Okay, 10 years from now, blockchain is actually going to impact every aspect of society. And I think this is now the right time for government to really start looking at how it can make use of blockchain technology to actually put in the right platform in order for us to actually move forward as far as the digital transformation of the whole country is involved. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think before I turn it over to Ryan, before I turn it over to Ryan to close the panel, just one quick thing. I'm one of the original members of the Blockchain Association of the Philippines, and if there's one that could truly seal trust between government and people, that would be putting everything on the blockchain. So I think ASEC Mani, you have three organizations here between FinTech Philippines, World FinTech Festival, PAD-CDI, of which I'm a proud member also, and NICP. We promised that after this, we will talk to Alibaba, Huawei, and find a way to help you with this mindset change in government on the cloud first policy and a more data driven infra under DICT, under ASEC Mani. Thank you, sir. Ryan, back to you.
Thank you, Amor. Yes, with that, I would like to close and thank you, Sir Michael, for your information with regard to national ICT and putting that together. I'm glad to see with ASEC Mani also with the DICT coordinating, and Alan Wu also with the cloud computing that's coming together. And also, Amor, thank you for putting all of this together. I know there's so much work that you've done with this. And thank you also to everyone that has spoken here, right? Thank you, Sir Mon, right? And Chairwoman Anna, who unfortunately had to go ahead, but thank you for everybody. And we look forward to the continued World FinTech Festival. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.